Procter & Gamble is Alan Lafley's masterpiece. He's chairman and CEO, but says Chief Innovation Officer is part of his job description. He's been with the company since 1977, but that hasn't stopped him from shaking things up. By the time he took over as CEO in 2000, P&G needed shaking up. It needed innovation.
Innovation is the key driver of our business model and our business strategy.
The strategy is working. The company is global with products in 160 countries, and it is consistently profitable. Annual sales, $76 billion.
They have the iconic brands. The challenge is to bring new brands to market and do it quickly.
If we're not there at the right time, in the right place, with the right innovation, we miss the boat.
In his new book, The Game Changer, Lafley draws the distinction between invention and true innovation. Both involve new products, he says, but innovation is more.
We define innovation as a new product or service that creates a better experience for a customer and generates sales and profits for a company.
But can leaders like A.G. Lafley keep up that pace, that unrelenting need to stay ahead, to innovate innovation?
In the end, that is the challenge.
I'm Scott Cohn for the Business of Innovation.
We know that consumers are loyal to P&G because of its consistency in delivering innovative products. But let's really go inside the executive offices to see how innovation trickles down to the employees.
One of those leading that journey is P&G's Chief Technology Officer, Gil Cloyd, a 26-year veteran of the company, known as the get-it-done guru, who says leaders must be open and accept new ideas, diversity, and failure.
Gil, it is nice to have you on the program. Thanks for joining us. So,
absolutely.
In terms of innovating, fostering growth in individuals, how does it work?
When we undertook to really revamp our innovation process, I think the first important thing we did, we recognized it's a social process. It really involves people. And we came back to the mission and the purpose of our company, which is to improve the quality of people's lives with products and services. We saw that was very energizing, but we needed to bring awareness of that to all of the employees in a much deeper way and on a global scale, better than we'd done in the past.
It sounds simple, but it's not, particularly when you're talking about these enormous companies with so many people that have all different types of personalities, diversity, real cultural differences. What are the barriers there?
I think great diversity is a turbocharger of innovation. And it comes back to the concept that innovation's about novel connections. If you've got a bunch of people that have all grown up in the same culture, think the same way, you're not going to have a source of a lot of novel connections. If we look at our R&D organization, we have 80 different nations of origin represented as we go around the globe.
Jack, what do you think about this?
Well, what P&G did was remarkable, and they used that word boundaryless that we talked about in the first thing. Look, big companies are filled with NIH. We've got our way of doing it, our way of understanding everything, and everything is from the outside is bad. Procter & Gamble broke it, GE broke it, IBM broke it. Lots of big companies have. The automotive companies have had a tougher time fighting that, and they are fighting it today, and they're making progress. But these big bureaucracies that grew up when the global world was not as intense are so tough to break. And what AG and Gil did to go outside the boundaries of P&G is remarkable.
The hardest part, I think, is to get these silos. You saw AG talk about that in his clip saying, and I think, Gil, this is what you concur with, breaking down these silos, to break down those internal barriers and ultimately then to break down the external barriers. And I think it's both the internal and external, because to get innovation to happen, as you were saying, cross-pollination is where the ideas are. That's where innovation happens.
The way you get it done, though, is if AG and Gil said, we don't really care if you do it, or innovate, it's fine, I'm sure that in order to break the back of that resistance, they had to exaggerate, excite the people that did it and say, this behavior we love. This is how you get promoted in this company. This is what we're after.
I would just build on that because, Jack, the concept that I think finally resonated with employees was innovations about novel connections. and you enhance your ability to make novel connections if you're going to the entire world, basically to find those ideas and those technologies. The analogy I used with a lot of our employees was you're in a creative process. If you're an artist, do you want 5 colors on your palette, or do you want endless colors on your palette that you can make your creation with?